Welcome to another episode of Geek-Men and the Masters of the ThunderNerds. I'm Dustin.
I am Bo.
Yeah.
So,
How's it going?
It's going good. Aside from the weird stuff that happened, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope people remember our guest tonight. He was on an episode a few years ago. Actually, one of my favorite episodes, just of everything we've done, where we talked about Toy Biz figures.
Yeah. That was a fun episode.
It was good. Let's bring him in. It's Brian Black.
How's it going?
Trying to wave and my hand's all weird. Look at that. I'm good. How are you guys?
Hanging in there.
Well, good night, everybody.
Yeah. Great. I was going to talk about Janine and all of her craziness too.
Hey, Jess. I should say that we hi, Brian. She's saying that, Brian. I should say that we've been in Discord, and that's been Brian's moniker, Janine, from Ghostbusters.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I had an action figure when I was a little kid with the Ghostbusters, and for some reason, remember, I was a little kid. I wasn't interested in doing terrible things to my toy. But for some reason, right where her nipples would be, the paint just came right off. And very strange.
Yeah, very strange. I wonder. Oh.
Yeah.
I still think it was a worry stone for you.
Yeah.
I was such a little kid. I was like, I don't know, but it was nuts. So then I, on Discord, I've been harassing Bo that's been my Discord, avatar on there is Janine.
Yeah, there it is. For some reason, he says. Sean knows.
Yeah.
I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish I wish tonight.
That's it, like on your birthday candles. Well, you don't need birthday candles anymore.
I had 17 Janine figures.
Oh man.
But gentlemen, we're here to talk about. I was inspired because we wanted to get Brian on, but me and Brian lately have been talking about some comic book crossovers and stuff. I was like, we should just do a whole show about crossovers and why they're so popular right now. So popular, in fact, that it's about characters crossing over with themselves. It seems to be like the big one right now. So, crossovers. First question to everybody: why do you think crossovers are so popular?
They're exciting.
Gives fans a chance to kind of see what would happen if different characters came together, like RoboCop and Terminator.
Yeah. So you think it's like the what if factor is the big thing hauling it in?
Yeah. I definitely think so. I mean, that's pretty much what inspired the well, you can't see, but I have Freddie Williams.
I think you can make that out, or I'll blow it up. Yeah, you can see Lino and He-Man.
Lino and He-Man crossover. That is literally my favorite story.
Does anybody have any guesses as what one of the first popular crossovers was? Because I was fascinated. It's kind of a Durr answer.
It was like Looney Tunes and Disney.
Oh, we're talking 1885.
Oh.
Yeah.
My memory doesn't go back that far because I wasn't born yet.
Good answer. It's the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, because Tom Sawyer showed up in the book.
Okay.
From his own
adventures. In the same universe though?
Well, yeah, but that's a crossover. I know that we were just talking about this before you hopped in about how we have separate entities that exist within a conglomerate, a company, and they're in canon by with the same universe, but it's still a crossover because they're normally.
Yeah, my mom mentioned that her favorite crossover was how when Boba Fett popped up in Mandalorian and vice versa, and it's just like that is correct. That is technically a crossover.
I'm looking. I went through. I found the first. Let's see if I can do this right. The first movie crossover, which is actually Lost Media, is Arsène Lupin contra Sherlock Holmes.
Herlock Sholmes.
Sherlock Holmes. It's a 5-episode serial. It's a French film from 1910.
Jeez.
With these two detectives from novels teaming up together, but it's Lost Media. Nobody knows what the hell. Which all we know is that it exists, and somebody might have some sort of copy somewhere, but there's nothing.
What on earth?
Crazy.
But yeah, the literary characters teaming up together that got people excited back in 1910.
Yeah, I mean, Sherlock Holmes is famously used in crossovers. Like, who's the better detective, Batman or Sherlock Holmes? You know, they have that little crossover and stuff like that. They've done that multiple times. But yeah.
Yeah, Frogware Games, they have, Sherlock Holmes introduced into the Cthulhu universe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting. I think actually the ending doesn't even, it kind of leaves it on, like, is it even really something that, is immersed in that Lovecraft situation or not? But
yeah,
it is kind of cool that they did that and then actually did it twice.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes is just one of those, like, he's such a well-drawn character that it's the what if factor. Like, well, yeah, what if Sherlock was in this situation and in that situation? And he just kind of fits all the time.
Yeah.
No matter how preposterous the notion is.
Weren't those characters in Star Trek?
I'm sure. Star Trek's crossed over a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those repeat offenders. This is the first crossover in a comic book. Pep Comics, The Shield. I want to have this. Where's it at? I want my notes. The Shield, 1940. One of those obscure characters that's not popular anymore. He teamed up with the Wizard.
The Wizard.
And this was the first crossover in a comic book.
Huh.
We're looking at it, and it's just kind of. But I mean, I do like the whole them shaking hands. It's very iconic. Like, they say each other's name and then they shake hands.
I like
the Shield, the Wizard.
I like the Wizard's costume. It's just so basic. He's just like, I'll just throw this cape on and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Let's see. First television crossover is considered Lucy and Superman.
Huh?
The episode where Superman shows up. Funny episode. I've actually seen it. It's been forever, but I do remember it being funny. That was, what is that? 1957.
Wow.
This is the first video game crossover. If you can, Battle Soccer Field no Hasha.
Okay.
As you can see, there's Godzilla, there's Kamen Rider, there's Ultraman, there's a Gundam.
Yeah, that's wild.
And it's just a battle soccer game for the Super Famicom.
Huh.
Still
learning stuff and you didn't think you'd come here and learn something, right? Yeah, I mean,
I tried to be educational. I know, seriously, Sean.
I will spit out my coffee everywhere.
I want that game now. I did not know this game existed until yesterday.
Do you have any actual like gameplay pictures or anything? Or is it just
I could pull some up.
Just curious. I mean, I guess it would all just look like real 8-bit, right? But
yeah. Like, I wonder if they count this because I on the Nintendo they had Mario kept popping up everywhere. I feel like that's a crossover, but maybe they don't consider. Maybe they don't consider that. Phil, there it is. Phil, no.
I think it is because Mario Brothers and like say Punch Out are two separate universes, but Mario is still a referee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
Oh God.
Oh, wild.
My computer froze. That's not good.
Uh-oh.
Well, I can still hear you.
I know that's good. That's good. Oh, it's because it's wanting to. Oh no. Okay, never mind. There we go. Can I see the image? Oh, you can actually play it online.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me stream this. Okay, we can get rid of this. Please forgive me for my my professionalism. Present. Share screen. I'm not even going to attempt to play because I don't want to crash.
I'm just watching Pac-Man behind you with his hands up, like, yeah, go Bo.
You notice he's with my Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is. I mean, it's very basic. Like you can tell that's Ultraman, and I don't know. I'm so tempted. I'm not going to do it. You could look at this up. Battle Soccer Field no Hasha from Japan. I don't want to chance anything. Stop sharing.
We start getting copyright strikes left and right.
I know from Japan. I know, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
You say Secret Wars. I could go to that. We can go to comics because a lot of crossovers.
Yeah.
I actually have this to read. I haven't read it yet, but Django and Zorro teaming up.
That would be interesting to read.
A very interesting because look at that fucking cover. It's so great.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, just the idea of those two teaming up because that seems like I like it when you have these universes that they have a natural fit, like Aliens and Predators and RoboCop and Terminator. Like I totally see Zorro and Django Unchained. I'm in the middle of reading this. Actually, this is a bunch of like pulp heroes. You got the Green Hornet, Kano, the Shadow, Zorro, all teaming up together.
Huh.
A few public domain. Superheroes that are showing up here and there. I think you see that all of them like the artwork's great. I dig the old pulp heroes, so I just love that people are using these. Well, okay, they're not all public domain, but a lot of these are public domain.
Yeah.
Of course, Alan Moore put together a bunch of literary characters that were public domain.
Huh.
And they made the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
I can't find a copy of this that's cheap.
Sir, I actually had it.
Is this one of those? I never told you, Dustin. Like Brian used to have.
Don't tell him this. He's gonna be sad.
Well, you're making me sad anyway. Yes, he did. Alex Ross did that first issue, and it was it's just fun. It's not like spectacular or anything. It gives you exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Out of
I
that,
have to admit though, I didn't like that they just tried to turn Hyde into the Hulk. That was not my happy factor there. I couldn't get into that. But outside of that, it was good.
Yeah, I like the idea. Of course, it became that questionable movie where they decided to stick in Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
I think I remember watching on the commentary that Sean Connery was in that movie because he passed on like Lord of the Rings and The Matrix and all these other huge money-making things. So he was like, all right, I'm just going to take one now. And then,
he said, I didn't understand The Matrix, and I passed. And I didn't understand The Lord of the Rings, and I passed. Yeah. And I didn't understand this script, so I decided to accept it.
I'm like, man.
Swing it a
and
bit.
Then it bombed.
Yeah, bombed pretty hard. It has its moments, but yeah, it's not great. This is still going on right now. They're still doing TMNT and Power Rangers teaming up.
So who is this?
Where at?
Is
that
talking
about April?
Supposed to be Raph? Okay.
So yeah, I was
Raph,
confused.
Mikey.
Because who got the colors? Because it was weird. Like some of them, I don't know. It's like they made Raph's red, but everybody else kind of got like close to colors.
Yeah.
But they're not the leader. It was weird. But I think they've also what's going on now is what is it? The Power Rangers themselves have become mutated into dinosaur people.
Okay.
What?
So, yeah,
I'll roll with it.
I'm just waiting for it to finish so I can just get the graphic novel.
Right.
I'd rather wait. Godzilla. Godzilla has crossed over with a ton of people.
Yeah.
So of course he ended up in the Marvel universe
King
briefly.
Kong Godzilla.
King Kong, Godzilla, pretty much every monster movie, because all those versus movies, I know they end up becoming their own Godzilla characters, but they end up branching off, and a lot of those are considered.
How about let's get Godzilla and Pacific Rim in? That would be sick.
That was I'll have to get a picture, or maybe somebody can make it out. Let me blow this up. If you look in the background, it's fuzzy, but there's Godzilla in front of King Kong, but on Godzilla's back is a Gypsy Danger. So
love it.
I kind of would pay to see Godzilla and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man fighting.
Yeah, I'm building my kaiju shelf. Yeah, that's basically my crossover shelf.
That would be
all
awesome.
my giants and kaiju.
Yeah.
And of course, Godzilla's, with Shin Godzilla, they've specifically stated all these Toho characters are going to cross over with Neon Genesis Evangelion at some point. But so far, you have Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider.
Huh.
And they even released like a really wacky mech toy that, all these people combine into a giant super robot combiner. It's completely stupid and pointless, but I want it. So yeah, I think there's rumors that they're actually going to do Shin Sentai next, or at least Shin. I can't think of his name. Kaider. They're going to do more properties, and they're still going to. At some point, they're going to have all these people in the movie together. So Godzilla's going to cross over yet again, and that's just in Japan. Here in America, they want to do a whole, King Kong, all that stuff. Do some more of those.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next King Kong movie.
Yeah, we were talking about this one. That was a big one in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was such a natural idea to have these two together.
Yeah.
Even though they're from completely different companies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about it. Oh, am I done with this show? I'm done with this one.
What is interesting, because, RoboCop was a human being. There's still little bits and pieces of being a human in there, as opposed to the Terminator, which does not have any humanity in him. So it's kind of interesting to see where that goes. But did something like really bad happen to RoboCop in that? Like, didn't he end up dying in that series?
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, because I've only like read nothing compared to like how much there actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say that RoboCop, he ends up going into the future, and they end up using him as the basis for the designs for the T-800s and all that stuff.
Huh.
Like Skynet would not have a building block if it wasn't for RoboCop.
Interesting.
But that's canon only in that universe.
RoboCop.
Yeah.
Thanks for destroying us.
Okay, so I want to save this one. Let's go to notable film crossovers. We talked about the first one, but it does, you can't watch it. But this one was the second big crossover. It's way more notable. And Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, which of course Universal, this kicked off this became its own series.
Yeah.
What a random poster, though. Like, you have like Frankenstein and the Wolfman, they're all fighting, and then this like woman is just like, "Hey guys," like, what the heck?
Hey there.
It's so weird.
What you doing, big boy?
I think that would be delicious, but
You're talking about Stay Puft, right?
Yeah, like you would just roast them. But I imagine if you ate the roasted marshmallow, you'd probably get cancer. So,
yeah.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, here's some more pictures from it. Like we think about like crossovers, like, oh, there's too many crossovers, like it's a new thing.
Yeah, apparently isn't.
Crossovers have been around since you could do a crossover.
Right.
course, thinking
They're
he's
just
like
friends. Well, they were.
Oh, no, I can't do that joke. He just looks like he's grieving because somebody died.
He does look pretty sad.
I got the call, Wolfie. Yeah, and this, of course, spinoff. Abbott and Costello fought everybody because that they were the Golden Boys over at Universal, so everybody was crossing over.
Yeah.
And we skipped ahead, but yeah, now we got what do they call this universe? It has a name, and I forget what it's called.
I have no idea.
If you're in the chat, help me. I guess it's just the legendary, everything in legendary pictures, like they're crossing over.
Yeah.
And I think
The point of like they're fighting, and yet we're still shooting missiles at them. Like what? It's like why?
Let them fight.
Yeah, it's just like let them finish, and then decide how to nuke the other one.
I do like the idea, like thinking back about how they did, because at first I was thrown off by it. I was like, that's kind of stupid, but I'm like, is it more stupid than the original movies? Because that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But the idea that they took an alien brain out of a giant alien dragon and used it to control a giant mech robot copy of Godzilla. And then a giant monkey helped him fight that mech. Like, it's like, hey, I actually say that loud. It's kind of fun. Second biggest movie of all time. It's crossover. Like,
yep.
I mean, what can you say? That was
the culmination crossover.
The culmination of what? 15, how many years? Like 15?
Quite a few.
Something.
Yeah.
I think everybody and their mother went and saw this. So.
Yeah. Okay, so being honest, I liked the movie, but I have not gone back to watch it again. I know, like, Kevin Smith and all these other folks online are talking about how it's the best movie ever, blah, 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 and they watch it over and over again.
No, I'm in the same camp.
I can't bring myself to watch it again because, I mean,
I'm in the same camp, too.
It was pretty...
I watch highlights.
Sad. Yeah.
I watched the fights over again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's kind of like the same reason why I never had a desire to watch the Avatar movies again, or the Titanic again. I mean, these movies are so long.
Yeah.
And now when you're like with the Marvel side, you have to watch 80 billion movies to get back into it.
Yeah, do you think it's too much sometimes? Like with comics and stuff. Like with the MCU, it used to be you could just kind of step in and out.
Yeah.
Like a regular comic book would do.
Yeah.
Like you can just pick it up, read it, and enjoy it. But
yeah,
now they're on this weird steam train, like where you have to watch all this back catalog to even get what's going on.
Yeah.
And then even if you do, you're reminded of what happened anyway if you just came in.
Yeah.
And now we're introducing the X-Men. And now we're going to
hopefully
introduce the Fantastic Four. And it's like, plus all the new, younger characters. It's like, come on, I'm done with this.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely have fatigue.
I actually listened to James Gunn today in an interview. He was on Michael Rosenbaum's show.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how it's not that there's too many of these, it's that they're so similar and copy paste that there's no edgy. You're just numb to it.
Mm.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I just thought that was a weird ending for Steve.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because him and the Guardians had like the best trilogy in terms of like their single movies.
Right.
Steve, you're just going to end up being a scrawny old man. Good for you, buddy. I mean, like...
Yeah, it felt like a weird way to go out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like he had his cake and he ate it too, and it's not like he sacrificed, but then he got it anyway, and I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I had an extra picture. Just the sheer amount of characters in that one shot.
Yeah.
20 some odd movies. I don't remember. Everybody remembers how popular this was when it finally happened. Because this had been teased. Jason Goes to Hell, and then I'm not even going to recount it because I'll miss out on the details. The history of the making of this movie is so fucking like it's so great and engrossing. Just the sheer amount of scripts it went through. How many people took a crack at it, the licensing and all that stuff, just to get that movie made. Because they knew it was going to make big bucks, and it did.
Now, I don't even recall because I haven't seen this yet.
It's fun. They do reward you if you've watched all of the franchise. Like if you've seen every Freddy movie and every Jason movie, you're going to get rewarded.
Yeah,
but you don't have to.
Yeah, no, I was watching them through with some friends, and I think we were on like the fourth one of Jason movies, but Friday the 13th. But we haven't watched any Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen clips of it once, but that's about it. It's one of those things that's on my list to watch, but it's not top priority.
You'll get to hear such wonderful lines like, "Wanna suck face?" And then he literally sucks this person like so that there's like a deflated balloon afterwards or something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, or he does he shoved that girl into that TV. He's like, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." Freddy. That of course led to Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. I just wanted to mention that. I haven't read this. I know John loves this book. He says it's really fun. I would like to. Hopefully, I can find a copy of it somewhere.
Yeah.
A huge crossover. Another one of note. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Because just the fact that they put aside their differences and all these companies came together to I don't know, man. I don't think you can make this movie again.
Yeah, especially since he's pointing at that dude's crotch.
See? It's this big.
Pinching it.
Whatever happened to Roger Rabbit? Anyways, like, I mean, I'm talking about like whoever even owns that character.
I don't know. The last thing I ever saw was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. There's like a short on there that's in the Roger Rabbit universe, but they haven't really done anything with Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And it's very weird. I know there's a lot of people that wouldn't mind seeing a sequel to this, but I just the legalities of it, I don't think it ever happened.
Yeah, I'm fine with it if it doesn't ever come back.
Yeah, I think it's a one and done. I don't think you could touch the magic of that. I mean, it's Zemeckis. But if I'm remembering correctly, it was Touchstone, which means it was Disney. So I believe they made a deal with Warner Brothers. It's like, hey, can we use your characters? And then when there comes a point where you want to use some of our characters, we'll do that. And they agreed to that. And then a point came where Warner Brothers was like, hey, can we use that? And Disney was like, nah. No, sorry.
No, we're not going to play nice.
I'm with you. It's leave it alone.
That would be weird, though. Could you imagine, like, another Who Framed Roger Rabbit with, like, Batman in it, and then Harry Potter, and, like, all these random Warner Brothers characters into this? Like, it would be so weird.
You just described Ready Player One.
Well, yeah.
And it was weird.
Yeah.
Or, Multiverses. That's a big... I don't think I put a slide up for that, but Multiverses right now with the Warner Brothers fighting game.
Didn't we play that game once together? Like
Yeah, I think we did play it online. It was okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to remove
wasn't
this.
a huge fan.
Let's see. Did I do? Oh no, I might have left something out. I'll go with this until we can talk about this until notable. We have this. I actually bought this for Renee as a gift. Neither of us have read it yet, but I'm clamoring to read it. Just the idea that the Punisher ends up in the Archie universe.
As long as he's mowing down folks, then I'm fine with that.
Which is, me and Brian were talking about that the other day. Archie's become one of those like notable people that their universe just gets. They go around and cross over with everybody, and they do weird things now.
Yeah,
and they seem to be more popular than they ever were. I mean,
it's kind of weird
Riverdale.
because Riverdale is kind of like because we're watching. What the hell are we watching? I forget.
Riverdale.
No, Bo and I we're watching.
Oh, we're doing a Twin
Peaks
Peaks run because I've never seen it.
Riverdale starts off a lot like Twin Peaks.
No.
I don't know how it. After the first season, I think it kind of. I don't know where it goes, but it's kind of one of those things. I got myself watching certain shows, and then I had to have like strokes to knock me out, so I didn't have to watch them anymore. You'll find any kind of excuse.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking. We talked about this one was Wacky Races.
Yes, that's the Hanna-Barbera universe. I think I do have a slide for that. They big on crossovers.
Yes.
There's the alternate cover to that. I believe the storyline is Archie looks like a criminal that Frank is looking for. So he has showed up in Riverdale, and he is mistaken Archie for this.
What year did this come out?
I am not sure.
Because I'm saying, like, in today's society, if you came with, some kind of automatic rifle at a prom, I don't think that'd work out too well.
Yeah, probably not.
Also, on the same note, are you going to stop Frank Castle?
Some Karen would try.
Archie fought a predator, apparently. I really got to find a copy of this. Not only once, twice.
Oh, wow. I like how the one is like, kind of like made the Predator look like an Archie character, and then in the other one, they made them look like more of a slightly more realistic Predator universe character. That's cool.
Revenge comes to Riverdale. I think it's because, okay, so Predator 2 comes out, and just as a cheeky thing, they decide, hey, I'm going to put an alien skull on one of the Predator ships. And that just floodgates forever. We're still Aliens versus Predator. And this was like a toy line back in the day, an awesome toy line that we've talked about numerous times on the show.
Did anybody ever like those movies though? Like they had like 2 or 3, right? And they weren't that good at all.
They're not satisfying.
No.
I liked them.
They're
Dustin's like, you guys suck.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, like, okay, so I watched the first Predator, and then didn't watch any Aliens yet at this point, and then immediately watched Predator or Aliens vs Predator, and then Aliens vs Predator 2, and that was my exposure and entry into the world. And so I don't know, I found it really entertaining. I've since gone back and watched all of Aliens and all that. So, but yeah,
it's they got around. It's Dark Horse picked this up, and I'm trying to remember who did the toy line. Was it Kenner? I want to say it was Kenner, and they came with like little mini comics, Dark Horse comics.
Yeah, with all the Aliens toys and stuff. I had those.
Yeah, I still got some on the shelf. That was a great toy line.
Oh, I had the Alien Queen, and that was awesome because she was like real tall and And then the power loader I had, and that was fun.
Oh, yeah, the power loader.
I had the power loader, and it was awesome. I was like, and I could put
This
like
is
the
my favorite.
Ghostbusters in there and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. You could put anybody in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. This is one of my staples
So
as a teen.
Sandy Colera
Thank you,
made
Jessica. Fact check for us.
made the Batman vs Predator as a fan film, and everyone was like outraged. They were like, "Oh man, this is the best thing." Sandy Colera needs to direct the next Batman movie, and then they announced it was Christopher Nolan, and they're like, "No, you need to get Sandy Colera on there." And so, like, the fans fought and wanted Sandy Colera, so they ended up bringing him in to consult, and the fans community were like, "Okay, yes, I give my consent. Like, this is good," and gave his blessing to the Nolan verse, so to speak.
You gotta appease fucking Warner Brothers DC nerds, man. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. It's like I knew, but I didn't know. Like I was looking this up, and plus Bernie Wrightson did this. Like I need to find a copy of this.
Yeah.
Bernie Wrightson, man, one of the greatest artists. Period. I love this stuff. But yeah, we had Batman versus Aliens. We had Superman versus Aliens.
Yep.
Great book.
Yeah, they were really good.
Superman versus Aliens 2.
Yep.
I love fucking Darkseid in this storyline. It's really good.
Yeah.
I haven't read this. Superman and Batman and Aliens and Predator. A full house.
Yeah. This was fun.
But yeah, here's the fan film.
Yep.
Which was just a fan. You can still watch it online. Batman Dead End.
Yep.
I remember that was good.
It's look at the shots, man.
And when he lands after this pose, he lands and he stands up and the cape pulls out from magnificent.
It is such a good job. And that suit looks good. I kind of wish McFarlane would make, or just anybody would make like an official. You call it something else, but you know it's from that.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently, if you back up a slide, the guy who played Batman, when he crunched his fists, he was not intending to make the leather crunch with it, like all that sound.
That nice.
Yeah. It was just like, it just added that much to it. It was just like, that's so good because he's suiting up. Oh, that was epic.
Dustin, I believe they made many chef's kisses during that scene, you know.
Start throwing roses everywhere. I believe they made a documentary about the director of this as well, like years later, kind of going over like how did he not become a Hollywood director,
right?
But I haven't watched it yet. I have no idea if it's good. I think it's on Tubi. If anybody's interested.
Yeah.
Because he went and did a couple of other like fan shorts. I know he did World's Finest.
And that was actually more like a trailer. And
it was like a faux trailer.
Yeah, and that actually got me to watch this other movie, Barbarian, which is a whole nother story. But that I was like, this is cool. Yeah, no.
Yeah, the guy that plays Superman, he's a meme character now, essentially, right? It's like a Chad.
Yeah.
The perfect Chad.
Mm.
This is just one of my personal favorites. Like when that came out, my exposure to this back in the day was the game. And I love the shit out of it. It's great. It's one of my favorite games. And I can't beat it though without cheating because this thing's a bullet sponge. Like even if you turn the cheats on, like it takes you like 20 minutes of shooting to beat this fucking thing. So unless there's something I don't know. So I don't know how anybody, I'm sure there's speedrunners and stuff, like anybody that can beat this.
Who would think that was fun though? You know, like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, because I kept playing the first levels over and over again. And where you like leave RoboCop alone and he would do this little like his, the screensaver motion.
Yeah.
What a great, and right there he's using the Ed 209 like arm gun. And I was like, this is just the best. But then, like, yeah, once you get to like the future levels, it gets stupid hard. Jessica mentioned this earlier. I didn't want to ruin the surprise. One of the biggest crossovers, like that became, oh yeah, everybody knows about it, was Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Which Marvel is apparently trying to adapt. I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know. I to me, it's not going to work without Spidey. This is the most iconic cover. I had. Oh, you don't have the cover I had on here. Oh yeah, no, I had this one.
Sorry,
I have this one still. Hulk holding up the mountain that was falling on them.
Yeah, I mean, this was just like because they made toys, merchandise, clothes. I had like, I was just like, what was this? I was probably just like a couple years old. I had like the Doctor Doom and Captain America fighting. I'm not sure the toys were great. That I miss that Doctor Doom from that universe, from that storyline.
I remember the toys, and they had like different. Didn't they have like? They had some kind of like, I don't know if it was like a shield or a ring or something with like a picture on it or something, like a hologram picture.
Yeah, it was like that lenticular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
That was some good stuff. And of course, this is where Spidey, we didn't know it, but where that was going to go, but where Spidey got the symbiote. It's just so casually done in that comic too.
Yeah, and apparently that isn't even the official symbiote suit on that cover. It's just he needed another costume because his was all tore up, and so he like had someone make him a costume, and it was this black suit, and then after that it was introduced the symbiote stuff. That whole thing came about.
I thought it was everybody got new suits because of course it's like, oh, this is, let's rebrand everything, make it fresh. And he saw people coming out of this lab, and he's like, oh, where'd you guys get your snazzy suits? And they're like, yeah, there's a thing back there that makes suits. And he's like, okay. And he goes back there, and I think that's where he finds the symbiote suit, and he mistakes it as like it just made a costume for him, not realizing it's an alien. But I don't know. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah, I just remember. I didn't even get to read that comic, but I just remember people telling me about it. Like, yeah, no, it's actually this. The symbiote comes later.
Yeah, it was like one of those things. They're like, it's like clearly it's not that. They're like, oh, you better keep an eye on that, readers. Wink.
Yeah.
And then like way later, when he comes back to Earth, and they let him have it a good while before they reveal that it's creatures. So I think it was planned.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff. Good. I did this for me. I love The Critic. I think it's one of the most underrated shows ever. So I loved it when they crossed over with The Simpsons.
Who is that supposed to be?
That's Jay Sherman. He's from the show The Critic. I think it lasted maybe one. I don't think it might have been 2 seasons, but it was a show on Fox. It was oh man, I can't think of his name. That sucks. Jessica, if you're there, help me. That's The Ticket. That guy from Saturday Night Live. He did the voice.
Okay.
And he was a film critic, and it was like a chance to do like parody movies. But he was also just like this lovable loser, trying to raise his son after a divorce and everything. It's very Simpsons-esque.
Wasn't David Duchovny in that show a bunch of times or something? Like for some reason, I think of that, and I think of like he played himself, or was there another show that was?
Are you thinking about that?
No, and I wasn't thinking about his picture in the FBI thing either.
Because I like this.
You're thinking of that? Like, no.
Everybody came in there. John Lovitz, thank you. Yeah, it stinks. If the movie sucks, just don't go. That rule is still applicable. He's like, it's a good show. I think it's findable. I think it's not like too hard to find. It's a short run. If you like early Simpsons, you will love The Critic. It's really good. Really funny show. But yeah, they did that crossover where they were doing a film festival and he shows up as a judge. I also liked when the X-Files. This is one of my favorite X-Files episodes. The one where they crossed over with cops.
Hmm.
Oh goodness.
It's like one of the funny episodes of X-Files, but it's good.
Yeah.
Because they would take like those nice little breaks every now and then from like the main storyline, and they would just kind of have fun, do like a funny episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody watched that when it happened back in the day.
I don't think
because that was like a big deal.
Yep, I remember seeing commercials about this, but I didn't get to tune into it. I saw it later after when the interwebs came about.
I believe you can just watch. You can watch this online. I think
Right.
because YouTube, Power Rangers has their own official YouTube channel, and I think all the episodes are up. So
yeah.
What are they doing in that picture? I see
like
the handshakes, but they're cheering and looks like them dancing. I don't know what's going on in that picture.
I think this is post victory.
Yeah, it is. It's a post victory.
And they're like, "Yeah, we did it."
I'm just speechless about that victory. It's like...
I'm sure Brian. That was like a. I remember it being a big deal when this happened. It's like both of those really insanely hard games are together as one. I'll play it.
And then die on level 2.
Yeah. I just threw these in for fun. I just like the idea of the Hasbro verse. Well, back then.
Mm.
And I heard rumblings that new Transformers are actually they're finally introducing the idea of the Hasbro verse.
Yeah, I mean they did that in the last one too. With Bumblebee, they're saying that this character is actually this other person, and I don't know, they're teasing that, and it's like, okay, well, maybe not. Who knows?
And the Care Bears with Transformers would be strange.
So this is my last segment. These are weird and unusual and notable. The first crossover with on a children's show was Spidey with the Electric Company. They did it in comic book form, and then on the Electric Company, Spider-Man would show up, but he wouldn't talk. There he is with Morgan Freeman. There's a steal. You either get busy getting bit by a spider or get busy dying, like your Uncle Ben. But every time he would speak, it would just put up the word balloons, so it would help kids learn to read, and I thought that was neat. Really cool idea.
Yeah.
To have fun with it. But of course, out of context, you get like really funny slides like this.
What a meatball.
What a meatball. What a yo-yo.
Man, Spider-Man was a jerk, and
you blew it blow hard.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That face with it though is amazing.
Yeah, it's just that. I think that's my favorite one.
I had a comic, Spider-Man meets Powder Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, see, there's a good crossover.
That was pretty fun. Yeah.
We get those. That also a big deal. Marvel versus Capcom. I think that everybody. Surely, if you've ever touched a controller in your life, you've played at least one round of this game.
Or at the arcade.
Yeah, or at the arcade too. I want to take you for a ride. That song get burned in your head. Jessica mentioned this. I didn't. So now we're back into, modern day. We have crossovers with themselves introducing the idea of multiverses.
Yeah.
And a massive hit, this one. Yeah, it is. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the recent success of the Spider-Verse. This film's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Can't say enough good things about it. If you haven't went through it, go watch it. So good. But the question is, do you think people are ever between the fatigue of superheroes and the fatigue of some people are already feeling the fatigue of multiverse stuff now. I don't think you can get any higher than a multiverse movie winning an Oscar too. It's like there's nowhere to go.
Well, I don't know. I think that it's to the point where anyone can write a multiverse story. Just like
that's pretty much fan fiction.
Yeah, I mean, because it's pretty much established at this point. Everyone should have a basic understanding of the concept of a multiverse because there's so much media out there,
Yeah.
Even that, I forget the name of the movie, but it had
that guy.
What's her face? The
Fiddler on the Roof.
No, not Fiddler on the Roof.
He's gonna get tired of that
Short
running
Round.
gag. Oh, you're talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes, that one. Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the one.
Great film.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Really good. Check it out. I think it's on the Paramount. If you got Paramount Plus right now, it's on there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that you have to be able to tell a story, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem is that is now getting lost in the shuffle because they're making all of these great sets and all these, they're picturing these great action scenes and things like that. But when it comes down to it, the more characters you put in, the more fragmented the story is because you're not going to be able to give them the time they deserve to tell their role or tell their part in a story.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I felt that was very true of Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man Homecoming or whatever that movie was.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, No Way Home. Because I mean, it's just like, okay, hey, here's a couple of Spider-Mans from a different universe. Okay, cool. Let's all team up, and it's just like, but they're clearly other characters that have had their long, drawn out stories and still existed. So I don't know. It's just definitely, I think, shortchanged on those guys.
If you take a character that was a main character in their own, respective movie, and now you just make them as like a bit character in something just to make, because essentially they're saying it's what everybody wants. Well, that's great, but is it really what everybody wants?
Yeah.
Because they're not getting it. Like William Dafoe was, like she mentioned, was, again, another character that we enjoyed as the Green Goblin, but he could have just focused on him.
I know it's weird to go back to it, but I believe that was the problem with Freddy versus Jason is they didn't know how to do that with those characters and appease everybody.
Yeah.
And it went through so many iterations because there was always something missing. And I mean, that's base level characters. I mean, those are, I wouldn't call those like heavily dimensional characters,
Yeah.
Like Sherlock Holmes or, so you're right. It's, you gotta have, there's this, it's a humongous juggling act when you're doing things like this, but I don't think that's why these are getting made. I think it's a byproduct that these movies are well written. Like, I don't think if like No Way Home and the popularity of like multiverse stuff, I don't even think Everything Everywhere would have even got made. I think that's the reason they mainly took a risk on it. It's because people were like, "Oh, okay, I understand. I understand what a multiverse is now. I got that."
Yeah. I mean, it definitely borrows and needs to build off of a different universe in order for it to work. I mean, that's what made Avengers work because they had, Iron Man, everybody got Thor. Everyone had their own movie, and so that way, when they mashed them together, everyone knew what everyone's job was supposed to be, and it was an easy entry point and blossoming point from that point on. But after Avengers, I think it lost a little bit of magic.
Yeah, it's always it's a catch up to like they're basically are using the current thing to sell you on the next thing,
right?
Which I appreciate Guardians of the Galaxy for and James Gunn for sticking to his guns, and not falling for that bullshit. And like not to give away what it is, but like the after credits sequence, it's not an ad for the next thing.
Yeah.
It's almost a parody of you expecting it to be like, okay, what's coming next?
Yeah.
It's like nothing. You're just gonna have a little moment here.
Yeah.
And
but I had some cereal when I got home. I'll tell you that.
yes. But yeah, so I'm fascinated by the idea of, because I think this leads to my next thing if I'm doing this right. Oh no, I got a couple more things. We were talking about the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah.
I would attribute Hanna-Barbera and the fact that Warner Brothers had it at the time. I think that's the reason Toonami and Adult Swim exist, because a lot of their shows, like Harvey Birdman and Space Ghost, like that's what put Adult Swim on the map.
Yeah.
And
I miss Brad.
Yeah, right. I can't do it. Zach, we need to get Zach on here. Zach can do a pretty good Brack. Yeah, I'll throw those in
There
for
it
you.
is.
Because look at all these, like the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. That's like its own thing. There's so many, and this ain't not even like the action cartoons and stuff. This is just like, this isn't everybody.
It's awesome. Yeah,
Jetson meets the Flintstones.
That was like a big deal too. As a kid, you're like, whoa, they can meet. Whoops, in the past and one's in the future. How can that happen?
Right.
I gotta see it.
And they're part of that universe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think it's Barbara. I think we've all been saying it wrong. I grew up saying Hanna-Barbera, but I think it's wrong. I think it's Barbara or something like that. It's like the Bernstein Bears and Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you had that Scooby-Doo animated movie, and I thought it was actually pretty cool. And like, you see Captain Caveman was in that movie, and
Scoob, the
yeah,
I still haven't seen it, but I hear it's good.
It is, yeah. And just the characters that they blended in with other aspects of that Warner universe.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the plethora of characters. Yeah, because Dino Mutt and Blue Falcon are in that movie too, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's neat. I wasn't expecting that.
Snidely Whiplash, Muttley. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in there.
That's
cool. Crazy.
Plus, it's Scooby-Doo. Yeah, Scooby-Doo has met everybody. That's another big heavy hitter.
Yeah. Supernatural and Scooby-Doo.
And Supernatural's on this thing.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I feel like that was going to be a jumping off point, and they were going to bring in like other Hanna-Barbera characters and build off that. And they pulled that movie at the last second, and just kind of threw it in video later. What?
The most recent one that did seem to kind of do like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit was kind of the Chip and Dale movie that Disney Plus did.
That is an excellent point, Brian. I knew I brought you on here for a reason, Brian. Thank you. Yes, the Chip and Dale movie, which was
Beavis really and Butthead was in it, for God's sakes. I mean, come on. Like, how did we get to that? It's crazy.
That's a good crossover movie. I think this might have been my exposure to the idea of a crossover, though, when I was a kid. The cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, teaching us about not to do drugs, and Michelangelo and Miss Piggy and Kermit and Garfield teaching us not to smoke pot.
I think I had that.
We used to watch it in school. It was one of those school staples. It's like, a video's coming out. Like, here's Cartoon All-Stars.
Yeah, but I might have had that. That's so crazy.
Yeah, Slimer. The Ghost of a Dead Person.
They did have a Chip and Dale movie on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's pretty dang good, actually. I thought it was awesome. I was laughing my head off.
Yeah, same. Because that movie's really, it's so fun. It's you don't expect it to be as good as it is. You really don't. But it's like I knew something was going to be good because it's the Lonely Island Boys are involved.
And you can't really talk about it because you don't want to spoil anything. Like now I feel bad that I even mentioned the thing about what I mentioned. Like
that's so small. It's so small. Still go watch it.
Yeah, there's a ton of characters from everywhere that you'll see linked to that, and it's just amazing.
It is like the modern day, because I think that's when the reviews came out. That's what they were saying. It's like this is the new Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I can't good Up there, same thing.
Yeah, Jessica
Sorry.
says that she got rid of after they.
I think a lot of us got rid of Disney Plus.
I still have it. I still have it.
Yeah, you're just hardcore Star Wars through and through. You will go down with that ship if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'll live in my head if I need to, but I mean, I've already gone down with the ship once when they did away with the expanded universe. So now it's like they're picking and choosing and bringing stuff back. So I'm all excited to see that, and it's like, oh, maybe they'll do this, maybe they'll do that.
We should have known something was up when that happened. You remember they made that video where they were like celebrating the extended universe, but it was basically to announce that it's not canon anymore. And they rolled out all the people that had worked on it, and they're like, I was so thankful to have worked on that Star Wars book that's not canon anymore.
Yeah.
Just so Disney doesn't have to pay them if they use those books.
Yeah.
It's insane. But yeah, Scooby-Doo, I think it's either near 100 or it's over 100 different. They've crossed over with like 100 times.
It seems to be this like the staple, like, oh, okay, hey, you've made it if your show crosses over with Scooby-Doo. It's like
well, I think it's in the same league as Sherlock. I know that's weird to say, but it's the characters after just like one episode of Scooby-Doo.
Mm-hmm.
So you could easily put them anywhere, and you would know what Fred would do, what Daphne would do, what Velma would do.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the people that wrote Velma. Am I right? Yeah, you don't know anything about Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
What's Velma?
Yeah, I shouldn't have even mentioned it. Oh, really? That's piece. We also lost Treat Williams. We'll go ahead and mention him too. We lost Treat Williams, and that was.
Oh.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Everybody. The only reason that show is popular is because people hate watched it.
Yeah, I still haven't. I managed to hold out. I was just like, what the heck? What is this? Yes!
Yeah, this is... it's one of my top 10 favorite Supernatural episodes. The fact that they turned Scooby-Doo into an R-rated story and they made the characters self-aware that they're just characters and stuff. That's a really funny idea.
Yeah.
Just to see Shaggy have an existential crisis about being a cartoon. Braver than me, Jessica. I couldn't do it. The Velma. I wanted to bring up Bat in the Sun because they've made their fan. Yep. They've turned this into their own thing by doing crossovers and versus just this little film production, YouTube video fan films, and now they're off making their own movies.
Yep. Which I think is due out in September. The next one, The Legend of the White Dragon.
Yeah. Bobby Valla are going to make figures.
Yep.
That was announced.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I just threw this in because
this one's my favorite.
Spoiler alert: Batman loses and it's bullshit. I don't think. But this...
no, they did two endings. They had the primary ending where Vader won, and then they had the alternate ending where Batman won.
But still, that bat suit, man, though.
Yeah.
That's a good bat suit. Of course they did that.
Favorite?
Of course, fan thing. But no, they got invited to do this because this was becoming a thing, right? Or did they make this happen?
They made this happen.
Okay. Well, this is like official now.
Yes. They've made the suit official in the Boom comics.
Yeah. Street Fighter. It was. I'll show you the video. It's cool. It's a really good fight. And then they turn it into a game, and you have figures you can buy. Like Ryu has his own Power Ranger outfit. Chun-Li, Cammy.
Yep.
That is such a strange gesture, even to this day, though, of like where you have to put your hands to like get your belt buckle powers. Yeah, like what is going on there?
It's like a Western thing, but it's like the belt's like way too close.
It's just weird. Like, technically, he's more like a Care Bear in that regard, Like,
I don't think people wouldn't forgive us if we didn't talk about Kingdom Hearts. That's like one of the major crossovers.
Yeah.
All of Disney crossing over with Final Fantasy. I don't play it, but I know this is a religion in some people, even though it doesn't make any sense. I can't understand what's going on in Kingdom Hearts. Did you ever play Brian? You're big on RPGs.
I tried to play the first one like on the PS4, I think. I wasn't really liking it. I don't even think I got off the island.
Man. But visually this is pleasing, but yeah, I don't know what's going on in any of these.
Yeah.
I like that they go to the Tron universe. But I don't think I could sit through like 80,000 hours of gameplay to do that. Smash Brothers. This is also a religion. Nobody's biggest crossover thing. And they started even letting in like non-Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, Solid Snake's in it. And...
Yeah, I remember when they first brought in Solid Snake, and it's just like, yeah.
It was good times.
Sorry. The Batman. I will show you that one as well. It's good.
I like the crossovers and epic rap battles of history too.
Yes.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. That's another one. That's its own crossover universe.
Right.
Yeah, Hitler and Boba Fett. Or no, wait, was it that? Or who
I don't think it was Hitler and Boba Fett. It was Hitler and
Darth Vader.
And Darth Vader or
Darth Vader
Einstein.
and Hitler. I thought it was Hitler.
Do they still do epic rap battles?
I don't think so, but it's a shame if they didn't. Yes.
We have to talk about Freddie Williams a second.
Yes.
A big thank you to Freddie for the charity thing. He's a friend of the show. Did amazing things. But he is also the king of the crossover.
Yep.
He has done Batman versus Ninja Turtles. He has done... That's more of it. I just like that cover a lot.
Yeah.
He's done I've got that print back there that Dustin got for me, my bro. Signed. Just the idea, like all the stuff that we want to see.
This by far is my favorite of all time. Like it is
just crossovers.
Insane. Yes.
Okay.
It's so. Oh wow! The last rap battle was 7 months
so ago. They're still cranking them out, huh? Okay.
7 months ago.
That's still something.
Yeah.
I recently read this. I fucking love this, but this was such a good. It was just stupid fun. Godzilla versus the Power Rangers. Rita goes into a universe where the Power Rangers don't exist, and she ends up in the Toho universe with Godzilla and all the Godzilla monsters and stuff. And
so, who wins in the fight? The Dragon Zord or Godzilla?
Well, you know how it is. To quote Mr. Sunday Movies, it's they punched a bit and then they became mates. But if it was like if that fight had finished, Godzilla would have just fucking destroyed them. It wasn't even a contest.
Wow, they didn't even make a Megazord. They just sat there and like just did their little putty kicks and stuff, with a little smoke popping up on her. They beat Godzilla down.
Did they ever, is that something they did? I would like to that, and we need to throw in Nathan Drake and just have them all fight it out.
Yeah, I know Drake and Laura Croft did a showdown, a beatdown for Bat in the Sun.
Oh right, okay, that's what it was. All right. I think this is going on the Injustice universe with He-Man, and that's. I don't even know what the story is there, but why not? Why not?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let Freddie do whatever he wants. I know he had artwork for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the He-Man universe that they pitched, and they didn't get it. They didn't go for it, and I was like, "You idiots!
Yeah,
you could have been printing money."
Yeah.
Characters that they should do crossovers with. I feel like Agent 47 should have a crossover with somebody.
Oh God, can you imagine sending him after just any of these dangerous? I remember a long time ago in a Wizard, somebody proposed that they should do are on the American version of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but in our case, it's movie heroes. So like Indiana Jones and John McClane and I don't know if they threw in James Bond, but people like James Bond. I know it's British.
Yeah.
But all of our big action heroes and have
Rambo.
them do a movie together. Rambo. Do a movie together like that.
It's called The Expendables.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it ended up happening. It was basically the Expendables.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to do this guy.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Richard Belzer. But his character that he played on Law and Order. I have my notes because I forgot what I can't even remember his name. John Munch. Detective John Munch.
Munch.
He has crossed over into all the Law and Orders. He's in that universe.
Mm-hmm.
This character has been on the X-Files, The Beat, Arrested Development, The Wire, 30 Rock, Sesame Street, and The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which means all of those universes are connected through this one guy.
Wow. And then the Terminator put him out of his misery.
Yeah, it's so that leads me into the ultimate crossover theory. If you've heard it, I'm sorry. I hope if everybody's heard this, I'm sorry. Has everybody heard of the 6 degrees of St. Elsewhere theory?
I've heard of the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Okay, well, Dwayne McDuffie, the creator of Static Shock, he went on to work Justice League Unlimited. God rest his soul. He had this theory that the show St. Elsewhere, I believe I actually have a still. The show St. Elsewhere, big popular show in the 80s, lasted for like 5 seasons on NBC. Had Howie Mandel, Denzel Washington, that really great actor, I can't think of his name. Anyway, the show did the standard television thing. Like it would, cross over with other NBC shows, like Ted Danson's, from Cheers. He showed up on there. And some of those characters went to the Cheers bar. And eventually the show ended on a weird note. Does anyone remember how the show ended?
I don't even know what show you're talking about.
Okay. Well, it's a medical drama. The show ends by revealing that the hospital and all the characters in it are the imagination of an autistic child who's looking at a snow globe of the hospital. He's came up with this story in his head. But that also means that he had to come up with a story for Cheers and anything they've connected to, and any of those shows that they've connected to. I mean, just Richard Belzer on his own has connected to 10 shows. And any of those characters that's been on any other show. So the theory is that every single show, property, everything has been taking place in the head of this child from St. Elsewhere.
Wow.
Oh boy.
And people have made diagrams and maps that connect everybody to every show. And it's pretty freaking insane to look at when you look it up. I don't want to go into detail about it.
It's like that Pixar theory, how all those movies are interrelated.
Yeah. Just like Pepe Sylvia.
Carol. It's also known as the Tommy Westfall universe, because I think that's the name of this character.
Okay.
But if you want to look that up.
So is this kid only in one episode?
He's in the last episode.
He's not even a major character. He's just
It's one of the weirdest things. It's not even like everything was a dream. Everything was the imagination of a child. And it's a medical drama, and it just baffled people that this was the ending of the show. Yeah. A hit show that ran for 5 seasons.
It's like Lost.
It's it just kind of copped out. But Dwayne McDuffie, he saw that, and a light bulb went off in his head. He's like, well, I guess that makes all these other shows, the dreams of this child. He also had the really good rule to bring it all around for crossovers. He had this rule that if people people should stick to their own universes. And if they do a crossover, what they do in that crossover does not affect their universe. It only affects the universe that's being crossed over into.
Okay.
So if something happens in one comic book universe where something happens to the Statue of Liberty, that doesn't mean that it happened in Green Lantern's universe. Because that would be confusing to people reading Green Lantern because they don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Because that happened in another book that they're not reading.
Right.
But as we all know, that the comic book industry and movies and everything took the complete opposite approach. And now you have to watch everything.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
I do think there is a lot of truth in that. People are getting weary of all of this because it's, I mean, what, the first Iron Man, what was like 2009 or something? Like,
Yeah.
it was somewhere down there. They've been cranking these movies out, and as excited as I was, I don't even know where to go with them anymore. I'm almost just kind of like rubbing my chin here and just being like, do I need to see that? You know, it's like, and that wouldn't have been me 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's also because you were into it. Whereas now, like, I still haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. I know it's out there and available on Disney Plus, but I haven't watched it.
Haven't seen watched Black Panther either.
I did watch that one. Yeah, it was good. Ish.
See, there it is. There it is.
I think it was good. It's been a while since I've watched it, so it's not fresh in my mind. So,
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was the best Marvel movie I've seen, and probably a good couple, 3-4 years. I don't know. I mean, it's they've been trying, but the movies aren't bad. I don't think it's just they're not great either. They just kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp is a good example. It was okay.
And look, that's the general consensus. It's like they're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't say those are terrible movies.
No.
It's just they're terrible in comparison to what was coming out. And I mean, look at that first Iron Man movie. That was the one that had like an unfinished script, and they were bebopping and jazzing and ad-libbing. And then they threw on that thing after the credits as just a joke. And then look what that snowballed into.
Yeah.
But take the first Ant-Man.
I still haven't watched Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I did it. I did it out of the feeling that you have to watch it. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
the writing is terrible.
I don't like what's her face in general because of how she was acting to the other Avengers on set, and it's like, you don't need to be like that. Don't try to come in here and.
I can separate the art from the artist, but like when you do things like the cat being the reason that's Nick Fury's lost his eye, and that doesn't mesh with what he said, it's like it's really dumb. And it was a joke. It was like a joke. Like a throwaway gag, like, oh, that's what happened to his eye. It was a fucking alien cat.
You and me both.
You lost your eyeball. It's a joke. Like the poor guys. I mean, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, Brie Larson. Yeah, not a fan. I mean, sure, she looks great, because they're always eager to flaunt her boobies around when it's like, hey, look at all this will make all the Brie Larson people go livid, and it's just like, yeah, okay, so great. That doesn't mean she's a decent person and a decent as a human being, coworker.
You should watch the interview with that. But I think they do like supercuts of them where everybody's picking on her because of her attitude. Like they know she's not going to do or say anything during an interview.
Yeah.
So they'll sit there and rib her. It's pretty funny. And I think that the Marvels trailer, I think that's the most downvoted Marvels trailer on YouTube in history, just because there's a lot of disdain.
Yeah.
I feel bad for that little girl that's playing Ms. Marvel, Camilla.
Yeah.
because she's
I mean,
young
people
and
are.
she's like, I'm in a Marvel movie, and it's like, well, you're in this one.
You're in this Marvel movie.
It's like the people with Star Wars, like they don't know that they're going to be in a bad Star Wars movie. Like if any of us said, "Do you want to be in a Star Wars movie?" We're all going to be like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
put me in a Star Wars movie." I
then-
might end
and
up
then it
as an
turns out
action
to-
figure.
And then it turns out to be, a sequel trilogy, and you're like, oh.
Oh, I was in episode 9. Bum, 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 wah.
But you still get your action figure.
And still get an action figure that nobody will buy. It'll go on clearance.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really. I don't think they actually sold too many.
People will buy them the mod.
Yeah.
Like for modding parts. That's all they'll be
Yeah.
used for. Yeah, do you know how many Snoke figures are still out there that haven't been bought?
Right.
So many.
It's crazy. You remember back in the day when they re-released like GI Joes, like they had in like the 50s, where you could like play dress up with them.
Yeah.
And they
when
had
I
like
got
the
to
hair
Corvette.
and stuff. It was like the felt hair, and like
Mm.
you had the camo and the boots and stuff. I'm like, if they did stuff like that with like all superheroes, it'd be awesome. Like if you could actually change Spider-Man's costume, how awesome would that be?
No,
Oh,
you have to
like,
buy a separate figure altogether.
Yeah, right.
Every time.
That's tiny.
Yeah.
Compared to, like this one was like that big.
Yeah.
It would be awesome.
Like this. Like this, dude.
Let me put you in.
Yeah.
Is that your Hot Toys, or is that?
No, this is not
They're
Hot
Toys.
I was about to
is-
say, like, that doesn't look that great. Is it just like a GI Joe?
Yeah, this is essentially a GI Joe. It was what it was their equivalent to GI Joe. But yeah.
Oh, is that the one when they did what they were in the black boxes during the re-release of the trilogy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was the power of the Force.
Yeah, I think that was all the. I can probably take this small child
Speaking
down.
of power of the Force, right there, there's that kid. He's
Yeah.
creating multiverses in his mind.
And boop, he's gone.
Oh, you killed him.
And that's all my slides. If I missed something, I apologize.
You're the
I was
film
up for
industry right now.
hours.
You know that?
Huh?
You're the film industry right now. You're killing everybody's hopes and dreams.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Brian, God, do I dare say it?
What?
Because of your blurred background, your curtains looks like a giant vagina.
What?
Do you not see it?
I see it.
Because
I
it's
mean,
blurred.
Okay. I mean,
I'm sorry.
like,
I don't mean any ill will or harm, or I'm not being a pervert. I just because there's even a little line.
Yeah.
no, it's just the light from outside. It's like blasted in there because I haven't drawn my curtains yet.
This is like the end. It's like look who's talking.
Will you stop getting joygasms over my background, okay?
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
with
Sorry.
your sarcastic quips about what's going on in the outside world.
Meanwhile,
Bruce
there's a
Willis.
floating vagina at your window.
It's like the crazy
Pressing
version of Sauron, you know? It's not a giant eye, it's a giant vagina. It's great.
Oh,
my
man,
god.
I don't know where to go. I kind of dug a hole there. And I'm sorry.
No, I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings and what the meaning of that would be if it was a giant vagina instead.
One ring to rule them all.
Has Lord of the Rings ever crossed over with anything?
So, Lord of the Rings. Never mind.
I don't
Has it?
know, but Lord of the Rings needs to merge with Conan and Kroll.
God, can you imagine? Can you imagine like everybody just kind of casually killing, orcs and stuff, and then Conan comes in, he's like just decapitating them all and bathing in their blood and everything, like, rah!
They probably think he was one of those.
And Gandalf's like, bring it down a notch.
Oh man. I don't know. I keep thinking about how Amazon is now the next one that's just taking these huge franchises and going boom and just smashing them into the ground. Because it's like, I wasn't into any of that stuff. Wheel of Time, the books I thought were interesting.
Mm.
I wasn't into the show.
I enjoyed it. I read the first book. I read the first book and I thought the show was fine. I enjoyed it well enough.
What do you think that's going to be like? Do you think we'll go back to the individual stories, and because eventually, even if they're good, we're going to get tired of them.
Hmm.
It's
We
the
just
way of the
need
Western.
new stories, like
Yeah.
things that are unique and things that we haven't heard of before. I mean, everybody's been basically, losing their minds over 80
See that working?
billion different existing franchises, but we need new ones.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
The Matrix when it came out, everybody loved it because it was new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's where a certain
Please turn it into a movie.
Turn it into a movie.
There you go.
Mr. Guillermo del Toro. I really would love if Guillermo del Toro. I would. He could do it for free. I would take no money. I'm not shitting you.
I
If
just
the
want to
deal
know
was,
how it's
it's
going to
him.
end.
What? Oh, just
Year 47.
Oh, well, that's your own thing.
I know, but if it's a movie, it can't really be.
Yes, it can. I can totally see that being the
They
ending.
won't do it for a movie. You'll have to end a certain way that'll make everybody happy or something.
No, I don't want that. Well, I guess you could kind of do. If you read from day one and it's in chronological order, you do kind of get an ending.
Yeah.
You kind of get an ending. But
or they focus on the different stories, like in By Year's End. I think my story had a decent ending.
I like that. I like that universe. I'm gonna plug it. I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of how it turned out. And
I liked your serial killer story too.
Yes, you know what? Oh no, I'm not going to reveal that. Brian figured out something about that book. He was the first person to figure it out. I didn't. I thought it would take a lot longer for people to figure it out. And Brian,
I bugged him. I bugged this guy all day one day to tell me these answers, like hours. It was like 12 in the morning, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I figured it out!" And I call him. I'm like, "Oh, like, are you asleep?" He's like, "No," and I was like, "All right, well,
is this it?" And,
he's
like, I was like, "Yep, you're the first person."
Yeah,
officially figured it out.
I enjoyed that story. It was a good story. We need more people to do that.
Well, I think that's to me that's my Matrix. It's just it's a mashup of things I love.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's all it is people need to tell their favorite stories, but just do them in a new way. Not tell stories with established characters.
What's interesting though is everything. When you find out, like, how did The Walking Dead become a thing? Oh, he lied to him and told him it was going to be about aliens, right? Yeah. When you think of what the heck was it? I was just reading about how the Fallout games, when they were first coming out, they had mentioned it as something that was kind of crazy as well. It's like everything is based off of the way we visualize things is visualized off of existing franchises or bits of art that we can kind of associate and interpret.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the problem I think now is that that's all you get. You don't get that. Well, it's kind of like this, but really no. Because, the best stories are when the artist is like, I was lying. It was not going to be about that. And even the Gray Rooms, when I was doing that, Jason was like, oh, I want to do demons. And I was like, that's like in every story ever. I was like, and then I wanted to do this, like, robot thing in the future, like this whole computer setup, kind of like the Matrix, really. And it was just, we have these ideas and they end up popular. But the problem is people don't see that same vision that we have in our heads. So we compare it and then we get locked into that thing that we sold them on. And when you have millions and millions and millions of dollars going into that, I mean,
you're
you're kind of obligated to.
Yeah. So that's a very valid point. So I think there's been properties, real quick, there's been properties that have, I think about the RoboCop remake. I feel like that could have been a great movie if it had not been RoboCop. And they were allowed to kind of explore the ideas. They could have been inspired by RoboCop. Because they're at the bones of that movie. There's a good movie there, but it falters because A, it's going to get compared to RoboCop,
right?
Which is a better film, and B, they're kind of boxed into what they can do because it's a remake of RoboCop,
right?
They can't make too many changes, or it's not RoboCop anymore. So I feel like the safer bet is just make it like RoboCop. But the more exciting is, what if it wasn't a RoboCop movie? And then you could do this and that, and then you could start exploring all these other ideas, and then suddenly you're your own thing.
Right.
But that doesn't sell. That's a harder sell. But at the same time, I think, you got movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once that's proven that you don't have to have it doesn't have to be a franchise. You don't have to know anything about any movie.
Yeah.
But then they want to turn it into a franchise usually. God. If it's popular. It's like there's like a evil in it. Like obviously as a creator, you want them to, be able to publish your books or, make your movies or whatever you're doing. The problem though is that underlying factor of they want to make more money, so they want more of that story.
Yeah.
Sometimes stories end like, with one book.
Yeah.
But, like look at Blade Runner. You didn't need a second movie. At no point.
I'm gonna say that I actually do like that second one.
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying you didn't need it. Which by the way, crossover RoboCop in the Blade Runner universe would be awesome.
That could totally work.
It would work too. It had that weird humor in it and everything. It would have worked.
I feel like we're gonna. I think we're gonna see this again because I'm predicting that Indiana Jones movie is going to flop.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think the only audience for those films are the fans of the original. I don't think they're really going to make new Indiana Jones fans, and if they are, it's going to be from the original 3 movies that they should have just stopped at.
Yeah.
Because the ending of Crusade, like that's the fucking end. That's so clearly an ending. Like that's like one of the best endings of a trilogy ever. But they're like, let's go one more time, and then that's it. You've undone it.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is even about that, like the Last Crusade. The dude drank from the Holy Grail, and that was supposed to wasn't that supposed to make him live forever, or is it just supposed to?
Only within the confines of that area. That's why I guess he was the Fisher King, whatever. The knight, he never left. If he had stepped outside, he would have died.
Oh.
I think they say something like that, something close to that in the movie. That's the caveat of being immortal. It only works in that.
He's still aged. It's not like he was like. I mean, I kind of feel like his body would have just gave up or something, or he would broke his leg bone or something would have just crumbled, and he would have been like, "I can't reach the Grail," Like what the heck?
I'll keep bringing up Back to the Future too. I think it's still a website. Have they remade Back to the Future yet.com? And if you go there, it just says, "Thank fucking God, no." And hopefully that'll stay that way.
Yeah.
I know Zemeckis is not in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's holding on to his part of the rights or whatever.
Yeah. But they're waiting for him to kick the bucket.
Yeah. The second they do, they're going to swoop in with just a river of cash.
Yeah.
It's a shame. That's going to be with all of them. I mean, you think about it, it would be interesting if you could get, Tolkien and be like, okay, what do you think of, Jackson's movie? What do you think of the Amazon series? And then actually hear his opinion about it. Because I'm sure he would be hated by most of his so-called fans. It just seems like that's how it works now.
Well, also those extra books that his son finished those books, right? Those books he didn't complete those.
Right.
So I don't even know if he would want those extra books out.
Because I think like The Hobbit came out in like the 30s or something, right? And then like
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings was like in the 50s. So
And I want to say he wrote one more. Was it I never know how to say it. The
yeah,
Silmarillion?
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. But then there's other books that go like into the future of Middle Earth and all that stuff. And I think his son like finished those from notes that his dad had.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the literary equivalent of not being able to let a franchise go.
One day we'll get an end to the Game of Thrones books. And it won't be from the original author. It'll probably be like computer AI finishing it or something,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Which I'm still waiting, because I really want Martin to finish those books, because I know that HBO stepped in and we're like, well, okay, we can't wait for you anymore, so we're just going to do our own thing.
We got to Dragon Ball it.
Yeah, and they just diverged from where his books were, and it's just like, exactly. I hope it's better than the series finale. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you, that is the most relief I've ever felt in not watching a show, was seeing. I was like, oh, I always felt like I was missing out on that show that I never started watching it. But when I saw everybody's reaction to that finale, I was like, thank God I never started that show.
Well, it wasn't even just the finale. It was the last season.
Yeah,
in general,
I heard the last
think.
season's like super
Right.
wonky.
I never watched it either. I just read the books, and I'm happy with that. Like I don't know.
Just because the it feels like they're cutting out an entire branch of the lineage and idea of this whole story, because they pretty much end and just cut off with the Sand Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like this whole branching theory and stuff like that. It's like that would have been something to see. I'm still rooting for those books to come out, so that way I can read Martin's ending, George R. R. Martin's.
Well, it's crazy because like you have characters that died in the TV series that were still important in the books, like the Stark mother, who ends up kind of sorta ish being resurrected.
Yeah.
And now she's like this weird half, I don't know, I can't remember. She's kind of half dead, isn't she? She's sort of like a zombie almost. And and last thing I remember, it was she was having like some major characters being hanged or something.
Yeah.
And
Jeremy Lannister.
Yeah. And the squire, Bob Free or something, or what was his name? I don't know. I can't remember. But the thing is like, I'm just like, that's a very important setup. I want to know what happens. And it's like nothing, and yet she dies in the show during the Red Wedding, I think. And so, like, come on, like that's a huge part. What are you going to do with that?
Right. Yeah, they just left her dead and didn't touch back on that. I was waiting for that, and I don't know. Yeah. I'm still waiting for a lot of that stuff. Like I said, George R. R. Martin, hear my plea.
And it's funny because that dude has all that money now, and he's old, and he's like, I want to retire. I mean, he's got to be thinking that. Like, I mean, if I don't even know how old he is at this point, in his 70s, I guess, probably, but
yeah. And plus the whole with the whole mess with the HBO show, just how it went, it just soured his vision, I think.
Yeah.
Just like, wow.
So
he's really all bitter about it now.
It really comes down to, we know, okay, so we have these things that we want out of stories, crossovers being one of them. But I think it's a cautionary tale. Like, we have to be careful what we wish for and how much of that we actually do want. And what do we really want out of a crossover? Do we want to just see these two characters meet, or 3 or 4, or however many? Or do we want a good story that involves all these characters together? I feel like that's the way to circle back around on everything.
Yeah.
I think you need just two characters too. I think the problem with a crossover is if you have like we were talking about in the past, like the Secret Wars, for instance, and you have 20 or more different people into a situation, you're not really gonna do very much with them. You're just gonna show them in the background half the time. And I think you kind of need to focus on certain, like just a handful of characters maybe from that universe, and then you can tell a story where everybody's going to be excited for.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it better myself. I feel like that's the place to end it. Brian, you're not on social media. I don't even know why I'm fixing to ask. Where can we find you? You can't be found.
I've gone off the grid. I don't know. Social media sucks now.
No, I'm with you. I just use it to talk to local friends and just to keep in touch with everybody. And I don't even engage. I'm not even on Twitter anymore.
Is Sean still on? Because he kind of left social media, didn't he?
Sean, yeah. It's just he'll throw stuff for the band, his bands, and
yeah.
Just, it's mainly for himself, like his own, which is again, that's the right way to approach social media. Just
it was weird because
there he is.
There he is. He escaped. Yeah, and it's absolutely awesome. I mean, Twitter got angry people all the time.
Yeah.
Facebook just became like you had to be like 70 years old and retired to really enjoy Facebook and liking everybody else's lives. It was like, I don't know, maybe Instagram is still big, I guess, for everybody, but I don't get it.
Yeah. I like that, Sean. It's his own little mini painting.
Yeah.
He's doing it for himself and the people that love him, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah. These happy little trees. Else is,
happy little trees. Well, Brian, I think you should come back. You should come back. Come on the show again.
I thought you were going to say I need to come back to social media for a second. I was like, no.
I'll never do that to you. Ever.
No, that'll be cool.
Absolutely not.
I'll come back and talk about how much I hated Flash. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm really looking forward to that movie.
James Gunn, he said during the interview on there, he says The Flash, it's a fantastic movie. I think you really are going to have to separate the art from the artist on that one if you want it.
Yeah. You know what? I think the big thing is everybody's going not even to see Flash, but they just want to see Michael Keaton again. I think they want to see.
I think that is the biggest draw. Yeah.
Not for me.
You want to see the Flash?
Not so much the Flash,
Thanks,
but
Sean.
I'm just interested to see Michael Shannon and those Superman characters.
I can watch Michael Shannon do anything. That dude's awesome.
It's gonna be. I want to see Nicolas Cage.
There's a rumor. I hope that's true. That Nicolas Cage is going to show up as Superman.
That's the thing. I bug Bo probably more often than anything else. I'm like, Bo, there's a new Nicolas Cage movie on this, this Netflix or Hulu or Amazon. I'm like, we got to watch it. And we usually do.
Yeah, we've watched a lot of Nicolas Cage movies.
We've watched so much Nicolas Cage. I still think that, oh my God, was it Willy's Wonderland?
Yeah.
I still think it was amazing. I love that movie.
It's fucking crazy.
He's
doing his own thing, man.
He doesn't even talk at all. And if they do make a sequel, he better not talk again, because that'd be awesome. How do you even get paid for a movie that you don't talk? Like, what is the stipulation on that? Like, how do they do that? Because don't they go by lines and stuff? Like,
they do. I know. I've seen it, and I've heard stories about how you can, if you see an actor and they look like they've been dubbed over, it's because in that situation it was cheaper to not use that actor's voice and pay him for just whatever, like he was an extra or whatever, and then also hire a voice actor to do that. The combination of those two jobs is cheaper than just paying that person to speak.
That's crazy. Jeez. Could you imagine? Do you imagine them taking somebody like, I don't know, like Vin Diesel, and then putting that one guy from like what was it, like the Love Boat or something? It was like the plane boss, like you just imagine every time he was speaking, like that was what came out of his mouth.
The plane, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That movie is like, it's like 10 years too late because everybody's done their own version of it. They did that Banana Splits movie, which was.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. Did you? Like
Oh, it's been like they're saying it's actually going to happen. That's going to be the price of admission alone. Because hopefully they'll use that Burton suit and everything.
Oh my God. Is he
And
gonna have to wear a wig though to have that long hair?
Yeah, he's got to have the 90s mullet.
Yeah, he's got to do
I
something.
do not want to see that at all.
I will be so angry.
Superman. I will be so angry if they.
Well,
I know, because Henry Cavill, he only had 5-6 chances to play Superman in a movie.
I mean, technically, they could just use CG to make him look younger, right? I mean,
yeah, that's probably what they do.
I don't think they're going to make him old.
I'm just curious to see how that movie's going to end, because I would assume that you're going to see the new Batman actor and the new Flash actor if it ends like Flashpoint. Like you'll see all that stuff. I don't know. We'll come back and find out that movie. If one of us ends up watching it, we can tell everybody what the hell happened in that movie.
They'll end up having it with Velma. They end up in that universe. Like, what's going on?
Jeez. Well, everybody, have a good night. We will see you. When is the next episode? Oh, sorry, we pushed the Superman episode back. We had that D episode, which was fantastic. If you haven't watched that yet, go watch that episode. So we pushed it back.
Yep.
When are your episodes, anyways?
We're trying to do one on the weekend, one in the middle of the week, and one at the end of the week. But everybody's schedule's all. We have all these hosts, and we still can't line up our schedules.
Yeah. Everyone's schedule's weird and different, so it's crazy. But
there you go. Good
seeing you too, Sean. I don't have a lot of memories from because of the strokes, unfortunately, but I do remember that we used to talk on Twitter a lot. So that was good times. And I was trying to get you to write and end up in the gray rooms, but I don't know. Sean just told me to F off or something. And that's not what happened.
He would have fucking killed it. It's just, he would absolutely killed it. I still hear about how the Appalachian Horror, like his story comes up as everybody. It's my personal favorite in the book. Like, sorry to play favorites for everybody else in the book. Sean's, it's just a taste. It's not like skill or anything. It's just,
Isn't it crazy how Twitter during that time period, everybody was like, they gelled, it was like this one awesome group of people that encouraged each other, and they were just like so positive,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that thing. I heard I mentioned it in the other episode in Prime. That was one of my non-writing phases. I feel like everybody's in a better place anyway. It doesn't matter. The talk about coulda, shoulda. Everybody's doing good right now.
That's it. I mean, if you have a smile despite all the garbage that happened, then you're doing pretty good, I think. Right? I mean, Dustin, it's weird because my brain was all jacked up, and I was talking to Bo, and he's like, "Oh my God, Dustin's like in the hospital and all this," and I'm like, what? Like, what is going on? So I haven't heard from you since then, actually. Right.
2 out of 3 of the people on screen have had strokes. Like, I don't know, man.
Did it affect your memories at all, or?
Yeah, somewhat. I don't have a lot of memories like around that time, especially, but.
Yeah, that era of Twitter, the golden age.
Yeah,
You're right.
I had 4 strokes and several seizures. 4 seizures, something like that.
Yeah, we don't need Twitter to do that, though. Everybody's here. We cheer each other on. Hopefully this show brightens people's day. In particular, this episode, we hope it brightened your day.
That's it.
Indeed.
And hey, I'll save this for last. We love you.
I thought somebody said that at first, and I was like, how did it get so big?
I said it louder.
I love you.
All right. And to take us out, I'm going to play this Treat Williams, and then we'll go to the credits. Everybody have an awesome day. Let's remember Treat Williams and this brief clip from The Phantom. What a great movie.